Well, this just came about based on breaking news.
Well, what breaking news is that?
Well, it's a Whitey Bulger thing. So Tom Cirignano, who wrote the book about the constant outsider, Memoirs of a South Boston Mechanic, who had some interaction with Bulger and the gang.
Ooh, that's going to be cool. All right, listen, I'm going to let you go so we can get to that, and it's time for station ID, and then we'll be right back to USA Network News and Anything Goes.
Authorities say fugitive Boston crime boss James Whitey Bulger has been arrested by the FBI near Los Angeles after 16 years on the run. More now from correspondent Christopher Weber.
He was captured Wednesday near Los Angeles. He'd been living on the run for 16 years. The FBI received reported sightings of Bulger and his longtime girlfriend, Catherine Gregg, from all over the United States and parts of Europe. He's due to make an appearance in the L.A. federal court Thursday and faces a series of federal charges, including murder, conspiracy to commit murder, drug distribution, extortion, and money laundering. Christopher Weber, Los Angeles.
And now it's time for more great local programming as WVBF presents Anything Goes with Bob Folcik. Give us a call at 508-822-1106. Let's start right now with Anything Goes. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Anything Goes for this Thursday morning. It's kind of a rainy, kind of a drizzly. It's supposed to drizzle again this afternoon. More heavy rains coming in tonight, but we can handle it. It's not like we haven't had this before. Have a guest this morning. First, a few minutes of the day. Tom Cirignano, author of The Constant Outsider, Memoirs of a South Boston Mechanic, who has had some minor interactions with Mr. James Whitey Bulger. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Good. I woke up, coincidentally, a couple of days ago. I was talking to my wife, and I said, Kevin Weeks, who is one of, of course, Whitey Bulger's right-hand men, just came out with a book called Where's Whitey? I said, I've got to get that book because, for some reason that whole thing intrigues me. How'd you like to be Kevin Weeks this morning and say, well, kind of answers that question?
I can't believe that guy is still on the street, actually.
I know, I can't either. Between him and Martirano, right?
Oh, my God. But, I read his first book. It was very interesting. And, as you know, I only had one face-to-face contact with Whitey.
And you survived, lived to tell about it.
And that was a face-to-face with a gun barrel stuck out his window during the gas shortage.
Right.
They refused him gas. Imagine that.
Yeah. So were you surprised he was captured? Did you think this day would come?
I thought this day would never come. I didn't think I'd live long enough to see him captured.
I think myself, like a lot of people, didn't think the FBI was really serious about capturing him.
That's a good point, because it could be very embarrassing if certain things came out, I imagine, regarding their association with him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he looks like right now.
Yeah,
what kind of health he's in.
Probably around 5 o'clock tonight when he shows up at court.
Right, what kind of health he's in, because, a lot of stories are starting to come out saying, the FBI, I heard one this morning saying the FBI has been tracking him out there for a while. Mm-hmm. And, he's kind of getting close to his last days. So, therefore, let's have some little FBI pride here. Take him in, even though he's probably too old, weak, and frail to do any damage to us.
I know. It's almost like a waste of $2 million of reward money to go after a guy that's really not a threat to society.
Right. And, you don't know how true that is. Now, the speculation is, what's going to happen with regards to pleading for, say, Catherine Gregg. Okay, trying to get her to talk, maybe strike a deal. You don't know what kind of deal Whitey Bulger had with Catherine Gregg, that if they did get caught, what she's allowed to do. So the whole thing, I think, is going to play out. It's going to be pretty fascinating, I would think.
Oh, the coming months are going to be very, very interesting, because I think this will probably dominate the news as different things come out, like where he's been, what he's been doing, and who he's been with. And especially who knew where he was, like maybe his brother.
I know, and I guess he's not coming to the door this morning.
No.
No. What do you think the reaction is up in South Boston?
I think it'll be, the people in South Boston are pretty much a different crowd now than
different generation.
Back then. Yeah, you've had a migration of people in and out of Southie over the past few decades. I mean, it's not like it just happened 5 years ago,
Right. Now, you're in the process of writing a sequel to this, of another book, a follow-on book to The Constant Outsider.
Amazing, Bob. Last night is the night that I put the final touches, not the final touches, but to the first draft of a book that examines what my life would have been like if I had cooperated with all the opportunities I was offered by Whitey's gang and the Italian mob when I was in South Boston.
Right.
Because it would have been a totally different life. And the book is really exciting because it gave me a chance to write about how I think things would have turned out, and it doesn't turn out too well. The title of it is 67 Cents, Creation of a Killer, because as you know, they often kill people for me.
Right, I remember that story of the gas pumps. I think some of the gas pumps, right?
And, of course, in real life I said no to those opportunities, but in the fictional version of the memoir, I'm saying yes to having people killed, and I end up killing people myself, and because it would have happened that way if I had gone along with it.
Right, so when's that due out?
Well, gosh.
Will you be writing a prologue now based on the recent developments?
I don't know. It was all a shock this morning when I got that news. But it's going to be a few months because, once you write a first draft, you have to go through and tweak the way you say things, and then you have to have an editor go through it and get it out in book form. So it's going to be probably 3 or 4 months, I would imagine, before the book is finished and out.
Good. We'll get you on for the full hour. You can talk about it because that last book fascinated me.
I will send you a copy as soon as it comes out.
Good. And like I said, the last book, The Constant Outsider, I read cover to cover, really intriguing stories in there. And you've been on my show a couple of times. So, yeah, keep us posted when it's coming out. I'd love to read the new book, and we'll have you on to talk about it.
Well, that's great. I appreciate that very much.
And I want to thank you for such short notice coming on this morning, sharing your thoughts and, your perspective of the capture of Whitey Bulger.
Well, I think it's going to be really fun to watch the news in the next few days.
It should be fun to see if anybody else gets taken down in this.
Yeah. If anybody wants to hear about different things that went on in Southie during his era, they can check out the website, theconstantoutsider.com, because I write about some of the more gruesome things that went on.
Yeah, and they are pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. I appreciate the time this morning.
All right. You have a great day.
And I will be talking to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Tom Cirignano, author of The Constant Outsider, Memoirs of a South Boston Mechanic. If you haven't read that book, had the opportunity, go pick it up down at Read More Books. Fascinating account of Tom taking over his father's garage in South Boston and some of the adventures of growing up in that time, in that era. Very fascinating. We are going to take a quick break, be right back, talk about a lot of other things this morning on Anything Goes.